Aloha. Welcome to Between Two Windrows. We are here in beautiful Oahu, Hawaii. What town are we in?
Waianae.
My name is Emilio Cervantes. I'm with Real Temp Instruments.
And I'm David Souza with Island Topsoil.
So today, David and I were going to talk about composting, not only here in Hawaii, but trends that are going across the United States. Tell me about the temperatures, because I also, this morning, one of the first things I did was go on to the system on my phone, look up your facility. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned earlier, like if people back in the mainland saw some of the temps here, they might be freaking out. But Correct. To you, it's normal. And what temps are those?
So exactly. So what other people might be saying, it's a catastrophe, it's going to catch fire, hurry up and turn piles and open it up. We can be normal at 165, 166.
Wow.
During the summer months, it even gets higher. We're in the 170s. And for me to have this new system, it'll just help us monitor a little better and be more easy at it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the thoughts is having very high temperatures is that you're almost being counterproductive, almost killing a lot of the microbes. Yeah. But you do a lot of testing here. You have a lab here that you work on and kind of look right under the microscope, right?
So yes, we do have a lab on site in the facility, and so we do a lot of microbial counts. Mm-hmm. Counting microbials, making sure we have the counts that we need. Yeah. We also do sell a Biocomplete compost. Mm-hmm. And in Hawaii, that's almost unheard of. Nobody heard of a Biocomplete in Hawaii. In the past, Biocomplete soils are made on the West Coast and somehow imported to Hawaii. But I'm saying we manufacture it here. We create it, we have it.
Interesting. So one of the kind of thoughts behind that as well is, who's the customers that you're looking to tailor to that might be seeking out, here in Hawaii or in other islands, right, of the state, this type of product?
So here in Hawaii, I try to tailor to all. We help farmers, large crop fields. We do nurseries. We do greenhouses. We do cannabis blends.
Oh, interesting. Cannabis blends.
Cannabis blends, yes. And we also send products outer islands. Some of the facilities on the outer islands aren't as, I want to say, there's a lot of good ones out there, but we have a pretty superior product, so we send them outer islands. They use them on different sites there.
Yeah, I sense you when you said you have superior product. There's a lot of, pride behind that, but it's rightfully so. You guys work really hard to create those reports and to Correct. Be completely transparent in your processes.
Correct. So, again, going back to my must-have data team, I have the data. Each row, when it's finished, material is sent out for testing. We're providing heavy metals tests, pH tests, and different testing that's required by the different growers.
Somebody once said, composters are all the same, but they're all different.
That's true.
And mainly because the industry is facing pretty much same challenges across the industry, but it's different because everybody has different operations, maybe a different philosophy of how to do certain things.
Correct. Yeah.
What's your thought as far as maybe sharing some of that philosophy of processes that you're really passionate about? You talk about data, you talk about like actually doing microbial counts. Yeah. What's that all about?
So basically, just having. So I guess what I'd like to say is just invest in your team. Your team will make you. Your team will take you forward, and you have the right team that believes and can see ahead on what you're trying to achieve. That is even more better. It's wonderful. So when I say taking the time to understand the surroundings, what you're dealing with, your water, checking the compost for microbial counts, make sure you have the counts that you need, make sure you have the temperatures to meet regulatories. Yeah. that's all, what it takes to help make a better product.
Yeah. What would you say is probably one of the biggest challenges you've had running this site, for example? I mean, it's a beautiful site, but I know there's a little bit of clouds that come in, which makes it look even more beautiful. But what has been like some of those challenges running a site like this, and maybe even operating in Hawaii?
So yeah, Hawaii is a high cost of living. Land is like gold in these parts. So just generally operating in Hawaii, it's a higher cost of operation. And then being on an island, employee trying to hire employees, it gets pretty challenging. It's the generation, I feel, in my opinion, and please forgive me, I don't mean to offend anyone, but nobody wants to do farm work. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty. They want technology. They want a little easier pace in life for themselves.
And there's so much truth to that. And one thing I think is encouraging for our industry is that there seems to be these young professionals that are coming into the compost industry. They want to get their hands dirty. They want to make a difference. What kind of words of encouragement would you give them as they maybe are starting out, a legacy company, something that they tomorrow could be multi-generational? What would you say to them?
I would say, believe in yourself, for one. Don't be afraid of the work. It's the more you put in it, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
In all aspects of life, there's struggles, but struggles bring knowledge. It lets you learn to overcome and solve the problems to move ahead.
Yeah.
So I guess in short, just don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
There were some scary days, maybe.
Yeah, there is some scary days for all.
So one of the thoughts with young operators is, there's a lot of passion there. They want to do a positive change to the world. And when we look at a state like Hawaii, but generally we talk about all 50 states across the country and other places in the world, the importance of environmental care. And I think all of us have a clear thought about that. But how's that affected with regulations? How's that affected with decisions, made by governments? Is that allowing you to exercise your compassion and your passion for what you do for earth care, or is it just bringing more challenges to the operations, to the day-to-day business?
It's definitely bringing challenges to the business. But I would suggest try to work with your legislatures, try to educate them, try to show them what's going on, invite them out to your facility, show them your ins and outs and what you're facing with, so they can better make a decision when they're passing laws and making the decisions on their part. Also, a lot of states have a lot of grants for the young ones that composters that are starting off. Check with your state Department of Ag or Refuge. Try to work. It doesn't hurt a phone call. Look online. A lot of states have a lot of good grants out there to help young people get started. Yeah. So take advantage of all of that.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful advice. Kind of words of caution maybe can you share with young professionals as they have big dreams like we all do and we all start, but a plan is just a plan, in writing in some paper until you actually execute it. But what are some maybe pitfalls that they might need to kind of avoid getting themselves into?
Yeah. So I would say do your homework. Every geographic area is different. Hawaii is no different, has a difference from California to Utah to Washington State. So do your homework. Ask questions. Visit other compost facilities. Ask what they're facing, and just try to put the best possible plan going forward. Nothing's ever going to be perfect,
right?
But if you, in my book, if you 75%, you're well ahead of the rest. So
that's awesome. And how many years you've been in operations here, and your family here in the farm? And
so, I've been here. I've been helping managing Island Topsoil since 1990. So
1990.
about 33 years, I believe.
33 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we started on the Big Island in the town of Kamoela, and we started with soil, just a one truck, a power screener, front end loader, and today we have just about 36 truck tractors,
Wow.
front end loaders, power screeners, comp turners, windrow turners. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, with a little hard work, anything is achievable.
That's right. You know, as you consider, moving on from traditional manual temperature recordings and takings to a full-on cloud wireless system as you have today, I know that you went with a financing option. And was that part of that decision to where you're trying to almost, you have that crystal ball to say, okay, if a recession hits, right, I want to kind of keep more of my capital, keep more of my,
Correct.
yeah, but what was that process of financing, a system like this that doesn't have an engine, that doesn't have, a
Yeah.
tire, whatnot? How was that like?
So obviously you're right, cash is king. So cash in the bank makes every balance sheet looks wonderful. We chose to finance the units. I was quite a bit surprised that the company was willing to work with us. I feel just, honestly, the RioTemp name and how long it's been in the industry made it much easier. It's a well-known product. But yeah, so we were able to get it financed. And if you look at the long span, over 5 years, it made it itself really affordable.
That's awesome. And I think that's probably something, in all honesty, most, owners are going to probably be thinking.
Yeah.
Because one is they have the challenge of labor, finding, employees, the retention of them, right?
Correct.
The additional cost of oversight, and as well as, just day-to-day operations as we're all contending with inflation. I could see a lot of them also looking that approach, that it might be about, there is a financing option. We come up this way, like.
So yeah, in having that option to have financing, it eases the pain of cash out of pocket.
Yeah.
And it spreads the payment out, and it just makes it much more affordable.
Yeah.
And some companies can afford the whole system, but smaller companies like myself, it makes total sense to invest.
I know something that you mentioned just in previous conversations, that when you saw what that financing monthly cost would be versus what was your current labor cost, there was a delta there.
Yeah.
A difference.
It was a pretty good difference.
Pretty good difference.
So I believe for the units that we're paying monthly, I think it's just slightly under $500 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Well, and I mean, compared to the labor cost.
Yeah. So I believe we got 36 units. So, one can do the math for themselves and can see the total savings that they would achieve.
Well, David, I know we probably have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank you again just for allowing us to be here. One, to such a beautiful facility, very clean, organized as you run it. You ought to be very proud of your team and of all you do to carry a great legacy. We're very happy to have you as a longtime customer of ours as well. And thank you for having us. Thank you for sharing everything that you're doing, and you're fighting the good fight, along with so many other composters. And it's just been a pleasure, to be with you. And we hope to maybe come back to this beautiful island again and see the progress and the growth that I'm sure will be, part of Island Topsoil, for years to come.
Most definite. And I'd like to thank you as well for coming out and helping me set up the system and getting it up and running. And I'd like to also thank RioTemp for all the support as well. It means a lot.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.